Welcome to the Scottish Rite Journal podcast, an audio excerpt of the Scottish Rite Journal. This week's article is titled, Who Was Hiram Abiff? By Howard Coop, 32nd degree, KCCH, and comes from the November-December 2014 issue of the Scottish Rite Journal. Now, every Mason in his Masonic journey has been introduced to a character known as Hiram Abiff. But apart from Masonic tradition, who was this man and what is known about him? Well, there are two major sources of information about Hiram and the work he did for King Solomon. 1 Kings and 2 Chronicles, both books of history in the Old Testament, give detailed information about the building of King Solomon's temple on Mount Moriah in Jerusalem. From Masonic tradition, it is known that Hiram Abiff had a prominent role in this event. Well, following the death of King David, Solomon, David's son by Bathsheba, established himself in his kingdom. Most historians accept 962 B.C. as the date of that event. Now, during his reign, Israel was incredibly prosperous, so prosperous that Solomon made silver and gold as common in Jerusalem as stone, and he made cedar as plentiful as the sycamore of the Shephelah. Then he proposed to build a temple for the name of the Lord in Jerusalem, at the place that David had appointed on the threshing floor of Ornan and Jebusite. Although prosperity abounded in the kingdom, Solomon really lacked the necessary human resources to accomplish his grand scheme. So Solomon sent a letter to the king of Tyre, that's a neighbor to the north, in which he asked for assistance to accomplish his plans. Well, in 1 Kings verse 5, the king of Tyre is called Hiram, Hiram. And in 2 Chronicles, he's called Hiram, Heram. Well, both names mean brother of the exalted one, and they are variant spellings of the same name. In Solomon's letter, he requests Hiram, or Hiram, to send me a man skilled to work in gold, silver, bronze, and iron, and in purple, crimson, and blue fabrics, trained also in engraving. He needed a person with such expertise because he assured Hiram, the house I am to build will be great and wonderful. Well, in response to Solomon's letter, the king of Tyre wrote, Now I have sent a skilled man, Hiram Abiff. In 1 Kings, the man sent in response to Solomon's request is Hiram Abiff, a word which means my father, and was an honorary title that was bestowed upon Hiram. And it may imply the father of all craftsmen, who would signify his superiority as craftsman. In Masonic tradition, Abiff has become Abiff. From the portion of that letter preserved in 2 Chronicles, we know that the mother of Hiram Abiff was a member of the tribe of Dan. However, in 1 Kings, she is said to be a widow of the tribe of Naphtali. In both passages, his father was a man of Tyre. Well, the man sent to Israel in response to Solomon's request was indeed a skilled man, endued with understanding. He was therefore a multi-talented individual, trained to work in gold, silver, bronze, iron, stone, and wood. Furthermore, he was also able to work in purple, blue, and crimson fabrics and fine linen. And he was trained to do all sorts of engraving and execute any design that may be assigned to him. Now, this master craftsman from Tyre became the architect for Solomon's temple and did all of Solomon's work, which included making the pots, the shovels, and the basins, along with the forks and all the equipment that the temple required. These were made by Hiram Abiff of burnished bronze, and they were cast in the plain of Jordan, in the city ground between Succoth and Zereda. Work began in the 4th year of Solomon's reign over Israel, in the month of Ziv, which is the 2nd month. This is to say, work got underway about the beginning of May in the year 962 B.C. Now, 7 years later, in the month of Bull, which is the 8th month, that is to say, about the beginning of November, in 955 B.C., the house was finished in all its parts and according to all its specifications. When finished, the temple built by Hiram Abiff for King Solomon was, after the pyramids in Egypt, the most magnificent building of that era. Now, there are numerous biblical citations for this article, and as always, can be found in the corresponding print edition of the Scottish Rite Journal. The Scottish Rite Journal is published by the Supreme Council of the Scottish Rite, Southern Jurisdiction, Mother Supreme Council of the World. Illustrious S. Brent Morris, 33rd degree, Editor-in-Chief. Now, if you are one who wants to receive more light in Masonry, and if I can speak for myself, what a pleasure it has been to read these articles, because the knowledge that I have gained has just been immeasurable. So if you listen to the podcast, please encourage others to check out the Tyler's Place. That's a monthly podcast of the Scottish Rite Southern Jurisdiction. I'm your host, Bob Chase, 33rd degree. Thanks for listening.